The James Show Podcast.
Let's talk about why we're not having kids anymore. It's The James Show, News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP. I am your host, James Parker. Whoa, that's kind of heavy. Yeah, it's meant to be heavy. Thank you very much. But in this one, the falling birth rate phenomenon is something that we have observed in other first world countries, and it's finally come home to roost in the United States. Now, Western European countries especially, I think Italy, Germany, France, UK, they have not been reproducing fast enough to replace their dying population for a while now. Russia has kind of been in that boat too, but you also see this expressing itself heavily in South Korea and Japan. And I mean, also China, but China, they kind of had it forced on them, so they're not necessarily going through the same phenomenon the rest of us are. But point still stands that even in America, like if you took America and you took out immigrants, legal and of course illegal, if you took out legal immigrants, we are not reproducing fast enough to replace our population, native born Americans. Now, I realize we're not a monolithic block, and over here on the Team Red side of the political divide, kids are pretty common. I have 4 kids. A lot of my other Team Red friends have 4 kids, at least 3 kids. Almost all of them have at least 2 kids. But when you look through some of my friends who are Team Blue, a lot of them don't have any kids. Some of them never got married. Some of them got married and then they had 1 kid and then that was enough and they're barely scraping by over here. But it is starkly different because I crossed the boundaries. I was born and raised out in the middle of nowhere and, still have my bug tussle roots and I'm aware of what small town America is like. Then also I've spent most of my adult life living in big cities and I know what the Team Blue, hyper Team Blue urban situation looks like. And there is a real divide there. But overall, we do have a problem with pre-production or lack thereof. Here's a 30-year-old. I didn't catch his name, but this little video went viral, not necessarily because of what he's bringing up, but the discussion that you and I are about to have. I want to hear your theories on why we aren't having kids.
I'm 30 years old. Not one of my friends has children. 0. No one. No one's having kids. Do you know how hard you need to abuse a mammal to make them not have children? Like for real. Let's step here back a moment, right?
Never thought of it that way.
Yeah, look, GDP goes up. People have have enough food, and whatever. No one's having kids, and this is across the world. This is across both the West, the East, everywhere it's happening. So there's a thing that happens, especially with even younger than me. Like the kids are like 18 today. There's a huge problem where they don't dance. No one dances. They go to clubs and they don't dance. Why is this? Because you get recorded.
Yeah.
If you're an 18-year-old kid, you go to a club, you get recorded. If you approach a girl and you mess it up, you get recorded. Everything is the panopticon now. So if you had to ask me why, my answer is technology. My answer is social media. My answer is AI. My answer is algorithms. Do you know what dating app algorithms do? Do you know how they optimize? They don't optimize for you to meet your love of your life. They optimize you to keep coming back to the app.
All right, I think that might be a little oversimplification of it, but I think I want to talk to parents, especially if you're around my age or you got kids that have recently gone through that sort of coming of age phase. Why do you think they're not having kids? Because this is something myself and Miss Parker talk about on quite a regular basis because our kids are 2, 12, 14, 15, so not quite in the reproductive phase yet. But we have marveled at how good they are. And I mean good in a bad way. Like me and my wife, look, Miss Parker is a saint compared to me. But compared to our kids, they're all good. Like kids these days, they don't sneak out. They don't take their parents' car. They're not doing a whole lot. They're not drinking as much as you and I were. The rates of drugs have gone down. I mean, like these are good things. The teenage pregnancy is at like an all-time low in America. There's all kinds of little cultural changes that myself and Miss Parker have noticed, but they all kind of fall under this general infantilization where you treat otherwise adults as children into adulthood. And it's almost like that's seems to be the blueprint. Like, how can I not grow up as long as possible? How can I keep being a kid, even though physically speaking, I'm no longer a kid? And so you see them offload just normal, basic responsibilities that adults have accepted for all time. And I'm talking about feeding yourself, making sure you're the one that's responsible for putting a roof over your own head, your own transportation, your own schooling. We used to make people actually provide for themselves. And I don't even mean make people. That's the natural order of things, is people providing for themselves. But now with all the social programs, and you can stay on your parents' insurance until you're 26, and you can have all these other handouts and get all kinds of financial aid up until your 30s, and they want you to stay in college as long as possible, and they want you to delay family formation as long as possible. And then they come out with these excuses that make no sense. They're like, well, I don't know how you can expect 30-year-olds to have a kid when the market's so bad or the economy's so bad or when housing's so expensive. And you look throughout all of human history for the last 100,000 years, pretty much every one of the 8 billion people on Earth were born in a worse economic condition than you are saying is necessary for reproduction. So what is it? All right, to the phones we go. Tim in Rockwall, thanks for waiting through the news update. You're on News Talk 820 93.3 FM WBAP.
What's up, man? I was curious if you have ever seen the movie Idiocracy.
Oh, do you mean the documentary Idiocracy? I love it.
The documentary, the future forecast.
I call it a pre-documentary.
That's right. So you got this opening scene of you got the uneducated, highly fertile, starting at a young age.
Evolution does not necessarily reward intelligence. With no natural predators to thin the herd, it began to simply reward those who reproduced the most and left the intelligent to become an endangered species.
Having kids is such an important decision.
We're just waiting for the right time. It's not something you want to rush into, obviously.
No way.
Pregnant again!
I got too many damn kids.
All right, so smart people delayed kids, dumb people had a bunch of kids, the world got dumber. Go.
Man, so there you go. So I'm on the smart people not having kids, didn't even try till we were 30s in medical school and career, and that's the push of society. Is everybody's got to have higher education, everybody's got to have higher learning until you're into your 20s. But biology, if you remove all society pressures, biology says you should start having babies at 13, 14. And that is an inflammatory statement, but it is biology. And so the most fertile human beings on the planet are mid-teenagers. Now, why aren't they being fertile? Maybe it's social media. They're not in the same room, so they can't make a baby. We're smarter and you don't want to at that. I don't know. But from a pure fertility standpoint, man, it is mid-teens. And society has so radically, I think mostly because of an education standpoint, has so radically moved a decade past that, to the point that most people, especially that are more advanced,
Wait. Here's where I see society stepping on its own toes here, because it sounds like, some people are saying, well, we're not reproducing because we're not having enough sex early enough. And okay, maybe there's something to be said about that. But also, I think one of the reasons we're not having as many babies is because we want to have too much sex. And, if you start having babies at 18, then you don't get to sleep around with all of your 20s and be a hoe and experience the world and, have all kinds. And so I think there's this weird pursuit of promiscuity that actually gets in the way of the intended purpose of the sexual act.
Yeah, so intended purpose is obviously to procreate and to make a child. And from a Christian worldview, you'd want to be married and with a family and all of that. And I'm not anti-birth control at all, but obviously if you want to be promiscuous, you need birth control, and then that's going to obviously lower the birth rate if everybody is perpetually on birth control. So yeah, I think at some degree it's the society's conflicting with biology. That biology says you should be having babies and starting families earlier, way earlier than we are. And then I don't necessarily want that for my own kids. I want them to be engineers and progress and go far in society and in education.
Yeah.
But that conflicts.
Well,
that's with biology.
That's great for guys. That's not good for girls. Guys can put off having a kid until they're 40. Girls can't. And so the age difference that you see commonly in society totally makes sense under that paradigm. But I just see so many weird contradictions that are happening here. And I think that's one of the downfalls of the left having complete control over the narrative and the culture and music and movies is that Christians aren't able to get the word out that, hey, if you like sex, be a Christian. We get to have more sex than anyone. You get married, you have a wife, then guess what? That is consistent sex every day. And I'm not trying to be like fun or nasty here. Look at the surveys. Who has sex more often? Who, when they're surveyed, is happy with their sex life? And if you want to like just talk out body count, okay, I can't win that argument. But out of just sheer repetition, if you have a great marriage and it lasts for 50 years, you're going to have 10 times as much sex as the person who is single that just goes from relationship to relationship. And if we were better at getting the message out that, being a Christian means not that you have less sex, you're probably going to have more sex if you follow the traditional mores and values. I think that would sell, Tim.
Yeah, and potentially allowing that or being okay with our children to progress with that if my son at 18 came up and said, hey, I want to get married. Oh my gosh, I'd have so many pauses, but I'd hear him out because there's a biology at play. There's again, from a Christian worldview, that outlet needs to be allowed somewhere, and it's going to happen somewhere, either promiscuity or through a marriage. Yeah. All
right, Tim Rockwell, good talk. Thank you, sir. Coming up next, we got to play Dead or Alive. We're playing for 2 tickets to see Lynyrd Skynyrd and Foreigner at Dos Equis Pavilion in August. If you want to try and win some tickets to see Lynyrd Skynyrd and Foreigner, call in right now. 800-288-9227. We're playing Dead or Alive next, and today's category is Star Wars. Because, May the 4th be with you. See what I did there? It's kind of a... All right, Dead or Alive next on The James Show. News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP. Thank you, Mr. Joey. And welcome to today's edition of Dead or Alive on The James Show. Oh, I know. Good to see you, too. Today's edition, in honor of May the 4th, is Star Wars. I'm going to list 10 actors from the Star Wars trilogies, episodes 1 through 9. That's it. I'm not going to get into any other side quest. And you have to tell me if they're dead or alive. James, that sounds easy. It is. And for your efforts on today's edition of Dead or Alive, the winner's going to get tickets to see Lynyrd Skynyrd and Foreigner at Dos Equis Pavilion on August 28th. For the rest of you, if you'd like to go out and buy your tickets now, go to livenation.com. All right, we are starting with Kim. Kim in Bedford, you're first up on Dead or Alive. You ready? Did I hit the right button? Kim, you with me? Is it Ken? Kim?
Sorry, I had it on mute. Yes, I'm here.
Okay, good. Kim's here. You almost lost your chance to get the tickets there, Kim.
I know. All
right, how confident are you in your Star Wars knowledge?
I'm fairly confident.
Okay, I like the sound of that. We'll start off easy. Number 1, she played Princess Leia. Her name's Carrie Fisher. Is she dead or alive?
Unfortunately, she's dead.
Died in 2016. Mark Hamill, known as Luke Skywalker, dead or alive?
Alive.
James Earl Jones, who played Darth Vader's voice, dead or alive?
He's dead.
Thanks, husband. Is that husband next to you?
No, that was my son.
Oh, well, thank you, son, who's actually watched Star Wars, unlike Kim. No, next one, Liam Neeson. He played Qui-Gon Jinn in the prequels. Is he dead or alive?
Yeah, he's alive.
73 years old. The guy in the C-3PO suit, his name is Anthony Daniels. He also did the voice for C-3PO. Is he dead or alive?
He's alive.
How'd you know that? He's 80 years old. Good job. The guy who played R2-D2, Kenneth George Baker, dead or alive?
Kenneth George Baker.
R2-D2. Ask your son. Maybe he knows.
Your name? R2-D2. I'm going to say dead.
Wow. Solid. Are you going to let anyone else play, Kim, or are you just going to get them all?
No, man, I'm going to get them all.
Okay. Next one is Harrison Ford. He played Han Solo, dead or alive?
Oh, no, he's alive.
And he did shoot first. Dennis Lawson, better known to the Star Wars world as Wedge Antilles, is Wedge dead or alive?
Dennis Lawson?
Ask your son if Wedge is alive.
Is Wedge alive? Yes.
Good son. The guy who played Emperor Palpatine, Ian McDiarmid, is he dead or alive?
Alive.
81 years old. And finally, Kim, you're not letting anyone else play. All right. All you got to do is get this last one and the tickets are yours. Billy D. Williams. He played Lando Calrissian. Is he dead or alive?
I'm going to say he's alive.
He is alive. Oh, my God. It's a clean slate. Kim ran the table. Flawless victory, as we would say in Mortal Kombat terms. Kim in Bedford, congratulations. You have just won a pair of tickets to see Leonard Skinner and Foreigner at Dos Equis Pavilion on August 28th. It's going to be hot as hell, but at least the tickets are on us. For the rest of us, we get our tickets at livenation.com. All right, Kim, I'm going to put you on hold. Good Garrett will get your information. We'll email your tickets. You should probably take your son after this.
I am going to. Thank you.
Very good. All right. Well, another round of applause for Kim knocking it out of the park. The rare perfect scorecard. All right. And this has been today's edition of Dead or Alive. I played a bit on Friday's show from this comedian, Aaron Wexler. And she actually posted something else over the week. And I'm like, man, I hate to do her 2 shows in a row. That's a pretty good soundbite. And I don't even know if she wrote this or if she's reading what someone else wrote, or it looks like someone who kind of could be her first cousin. She looks so different when she's not on stage that I think it might not even be her, just a woman who looks like her, and she just reposted it maybe. But let me play you what I played last week, just to kind of let you know how this is a girl who doesn't play by the politically correct rules or the woke rules or whatever you want to call it. And it was making a very tense and tenuous connection between pit bulls and Muslims. And then I'll play the new bit that I saw over the weekend.
I was like, he's such a sweet boy. Anyone knows dogs. Like, he's a classic lab. He loves everyone, wants to play with everyone, but I won't let him play with pits. Because the thing is, pit bulls are like Muslims. By the way, the few people who aren't excited about this are the pit bull owners in this room. Listen, they're not all violent. Most of them aren't, but somehow almost every violent attack happens with them. They're like the Al-Qaeda sleeper cell of dogs, you know? You'll see a pit for years, so happy, so sweet, and then they get a signal that we don't see, and they're activated, and your face is torn off. And then you have some liberal white woman defending it, saying that you shouldn't put it down, and that somehow it was your fault. They're like, well, all the ones that I grew up with were super peaceful. Great, we should put them in our dog parks, because it worked out so well in all the other dog parks, right? This is a breed that they made it just recently. It's meant for illegal fighting. And we have to pretend that all those years of inbreeding and raising them from a young age to fight, like that just goes away and suddenly they're westernized, domesticated. And you have to wonder if it's a practicing pit. And this isn't a metaphor for anything.
No, I didn't hear a metaphor in there. All right, now there was some research that had been done on DEI pilots and their likelihood of crashing. This is along the same lines. Kind of uncomfortable.
So what percentage of aviation accidents would you guess are at the hands of DEI pilots? Well, women and minorities make up only 10% of pilots, yet they make up 50% of accidents. Yes, 50%. You know, it's not like this is for something important, like flying in a metal tube in the sky or something. Now, it is a small sample size because crashes are thankfully not that common, but they have caused 4 out of the 8 crashes since 2000. It's almost like lowering standards has consequences, and they always cover it up. Remember that horrific crash in DC last year? Well, they copied the playbook for how to cover up when people die from DEI from 1994, when Kara Holtzgreen, the Navy's first female F-14 pilot, also became the Navy's first female pilot to die in a crash. Officials said it was engine failure, and her training commander insisted that everyone has a standard that they all have to meet. But then a whistleblower leaked 5 months later that it was pilot error. And this pilot had had multiple safety violations that would have washed out any male pilot. I guess we shouldn't be totally surprised, but also, you know who the most famous female pilot is? Amelia Earhart. Do you remember what she's famous for? For not completing her flight. Yeah.
You can make it a summer of live music. Get $30 tickets to some of the hottest shows this year, like Jimmy Eat World, Guns N' Roses, Billy Idol, Motley Crue, Tim McGraw, more. The offer runs only through tomorrow. So go to livenation.com/summer of live to learn more. That's the trick there. You go to that website and you can get $30 tickets to not all of the shows, but some of the big ones have this promotion going on. So Jimmy Eat World, Guns N' Roses, Billy Idol, Motley Crue, Tim McGraw. Those are just some of them. Go check out, see if there's a concert you'd like to go to. Maybe we can save you quite a bit of money on it. And it's only live today and tomorrow. It's been going on for a week. These are the last 2 days. livenation.com/summer of live. All right, thank you very much for listening to The James Show. I really appreciate it. I hope you liked it, but even if you hated it, I hope you come back and listen again. It was fun meeting you at WeatherCon this weekend, if you were nice enough to come out. And coming up in 3 weeks, or 2 weeks and 3 days, not this Thursday, not next Thursday, but next Thursday, is the next Parker's Pours Whiskey and Rye Bar at the Omni Fort Worth Hotel. You might want to go ahead and put that in your phone. I'm James Parker. This has been The James Show on News Talk 820, 93.3 FM WBAP.
The James Show Podcast.